Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I wish to discuss my experience to highlight the critical importance of consistent support for students with disabilities in educational environments, and to advocate that sensationalized or dramatized stories should not be published online without clear labeling. Back when I was a student, my day began and ended with the presence of a dedicated aide assigned to me from the moment I wheeled off the school bus at 8 o'clock in the morning until I got back on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The only exception was a scheduled 30-minute lunch break for the aide, during which alternate arrangements were made so I was never left entirely on my own. Throughout the day, my aide played a vital role in ensuring my educational and physical needs were met. In the regular education classroom, they would sit close by, ready to take notes on my behalf, clarify instructions from the teacher, and provide immediate assistance if I needed help with my schoolwork or moving around. Their support was particularly essential during transitions between classes, where crowded hallways and tight schedules could easily present challenges for someone with mobility needs. One of the most critical responsibilities my aide had was assisting me in the restroom. This not only safeguarded my dignity and privacy, but also ensured my safety at all times. They were always stationed just outside the stall, prepared to help if needed, which alleviated any anxiety I might have had about using the facilities independently. Lunchtime and cafeteria periods were made easier, too. My aide would help me navigate the often hectic lunch lines, carry my tray if necessary, and find a suitable place to sit among my classmates, fostering a sense of inclusion and belonging. Whenever my class embarked on field trips, whether it was to museums, historical sites, or even local parks, my aide was always present. On some occasions, my mother would accompany us as an additional layer of support, ensuring I was never left without assistance or advocacy. When my class went to Washington, D.C. for 4 days and 3 nights, my mom went to provide support with my activities of daily living, getting me up, dressing, bathing, helping with meals. The presence of these caring adults meant that I was able to participate fully in every aspect of school life, just like my peers, without being placed in vulnerable or unsafe situations. Reflecting on these experiences reiterates for me just how crucial it is for schools to prioritize the continuous and attentive support of students with disabilities, ensuring their safety, participation, and well-being throughout the entire school day. Recently, I came across a video on YouTube depicting a 7th grader with spina bifida participating in a field trip to her local courthouse with her non-disabled classmates. During the outing, she needed to use the restroom. Instead of being accompanied, her teacher allowed her to go alone, a glaring oversight in terms of student safety and proper school support. For any student with mobility challenges, especially one with a condition like spina bifida, having supervision, or at least someone stationed nearby, is crucial. In a well-supported school environment, a dedicated aide much like the one I had during my own school years should always be present to provide assistance, particularly in public or unfamiliar settings. An aide would have ensured she was safe entering, exiting, and using the restroom facilities, remaining just outside the stall to assist if necessary, and to intervene promptly if any issues arose. It is important to underscore the legal and ethical responsibility of schools in such scenarios. From the moment a student, regardless of ability, boards the school bus until they return home, the school is fully accountable for their well-being. This duty of care doesn't lapse during field trips or off-campus activities. In fact, it becomes even more pressing in unfamiliar environments where potential risks are heightened. If an incident occurs, whether it is an accident or a confrontation, the school is responsible for the outcome, underscoring the necessity of continuous supervision for students who need it. My school in Wisconsin used their own fleet of school buses. They contracted with another bus company to provide transportation for the children who use wheelchairs. Any time that my class went on a trip, I would have to use a manual wheelchair, not my power chair, which limited my independence. There was 2 times that West Green provided transportation outside of the normal run, and even then my aide made sure that I was marked present, so I did not have to be unloaded and then reloaded on the bus. In the video, a troubling situation unfolds. A woman attempts to prevent the student, a black girl with a visible disability, from accessing the accessible restroom stall. Realistically, if an aide had been present, their role would have been clear. They would either be inside the restroom assisting or waiting directly outside the stall, making it obvious that assistance was required and that the student had every right to use the accessible facility. The presence of an adult advocate usually deters such confrontations. However, in the scenario depicted, the absence of an aide allowed the situation to escalate, with the woman becoming confrontational and ultimately calling the police. It is worth noting here that while it can be frustrating for someone with a disability to encounter able-bodied people using accessible stalls, especially in situations where there are limited facilities, like during long car trips or on trains. This is not illegal. Nobody would give you a ticket for using a family bathroom. During my own experience, just a few weeks ago, traveling by Amtrak to Philadelphia, I found myself in a similar predicament. Able-bodied passengers used the accessible restroom, and while it was irritating, particularly when someone clogged the toilet and rendered it unusable for the remainder of the trip, I understood that options were limited. In that case, I fortunately only had to wait about an hour before reaching the station with accessible restrooms. Incidents like these highlights how vital it is to have contingency plans and proper support structures in place for disabled travelers. Returning to the story in the video, after the incident, the girl, supported by her teacher, composed a speech about her civil rights being violated under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. She presented this speech at the next city council meeting, advocating for her rights and seeking change. In an ideal world, this action would garner the attention of her local Center for Independent Living, a nonprofit organization with expertise in disability advocacy and civil rights, which could then collaborate with the school district to ensure compliance with the ADA and reinforce best practices for student support. However, I feel compelled to address a broader issue: the proliferation of videos and stories online that dramatize or exaggerate challenges faced by people with disabilities. While it is crucial to raise awareness, sharing sensationalized or unverifiable accounts can inadvertently undermine the long-term efforts of genuine advocates and activists who work hard to enact positive, practical changes. In the heated climate of civil rights discourse, those who are opposed to protections for the disability community may seize upon such stories, whether about children struggling to use restrooms, or neighborhood associations blocking the construction of home ramps or other home modifications, to argue for repealing hard-won laws and regulations designed to prevent discrimination. This is not to say that real stories of discrimination should go untold. Far from it. But it is vital that what we share is truthful and contextualized, or at least clearly labeled as hypothetical or dramatized. By doing so, we protect the integrity of the disability rights movement and ensure that the real experiences of both students and adults with disabilities remain at the forefront of the conversation, driving meaningful improvements in accessibility, inclusion, and dignity for all. I believe that if creators are going to produce content about the disability community and the independent living movement, they need to get it right, or not do it at all. We cannot afford to have stories fictionalized or dramatized. That would just undermine our message, and we cannot afford to do that. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook, X, and Tumblr. See you soon.